Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to check out the Smok Mico kit. This is a little all-in-one pod system that does have mesh coils and regular coils. Now, my apologies for not having more rebuildables and advanced stuff this week. Originally, I was going to do the new K-Fun Lite today. Then they asked me to hold off. So we are doing a pod system. Let's dive into it. This is what your packaging is going to look like. So inside you are going to have your device and two pods. Underneath that you do have a lanyard, a little shorty micro USB charge cable, a manual, and a warranty card. So right off the bat, before you comment it, there is no doubt that this thing is fairly reminiscent to the MyPod. It's definitely got the same form factor, although I think this is a little bit smaller. And we'll talk about that more when we go up top. So let's go ahead and take a look at these pods. So you are going to get a regular pod that is just a 1 ohm normal wire cotton coil. And then you have the mesh pod, which is 0.8 ohms. There's also going to be a ceramic coil that you can buy separately, which is 1.4 ohms. I already put the mesh in my other one, so we're going to put the regular in this one. On the bottom there, you have your two contacts, and then the little hole there, that's for the auto draw and also for airflow to get in. As you can see, it's a fairly large hole for a quote-unquote MTL device. This has a bit of a looser draw, although it is a warm vape. And there's a look at your mouthpiece. Pretty wide mouthpiece, pretty squared off and wide mouthpiece. To fill this, you just pull this little port back like so. These hold 1.7 mLs of liquid, and I'm going to use some of this Saturn 12 milligram. Paradigm sent me a bunch of their new MTL line liquids, which are quite good. I'm not sure if this is 50-50 or not. A lot of the others said 50-50, but this one doesn't, the peanut butter custard. So we're just going to fill it on up like so. And if it's a thicker liquid, you got to wait for it to slide over where that coil head is. Don't push the juice out too fast. Okay, we'll call that good. Push that plug back in. Now with the device, it is made of zinc alloy. It's got that shiny finish on the frame like we've seen Smok use on tons of their other products. I wish it was more of a matte finish, but it is what it is. You got a micro USB charging port on the bottom there. On-off switch right here. That will blink at you when you turn it on. Now, when you're vaping, that will change colors depending on where your battery is at. So green is above 70%, orange 30 to 70%, and under 30%, it goes red. And then obviously, when you're not using it, you can turn it off. Okay, I believe this has 1 amp charging, 700 milliamp hour battery in this thing. It says Mico right there. Now, this material right here, where it has almost that resin look, I'm not sure what it is. Feels like it's got a plastic coating over the top of it, but I don't know if that's just all one piece or what. It says Smok on that side. It does feel nice though. Definitely does not feel cheap. You got your contacts down inside there. Window right there for liquid. Window right there for liquid. And let's go ahead and put our pod in. That lights up and you're ready to go. This does not have regulated wattage or anything like that. I believe it goes from 4 volts down to 3 volts. And there's the little hook for your lanyard right there. Now, as far as size comparisons go, here it is next to the Orion Q. So you can see how small this thing is. Pretty tiny, pretty impressive that they got a 700 milliamp hour battery in there. It's basically all battery on this side. I don't have a MyPod here to compare it to, but I have used a MyPod in the past, and I can definitely say that this is smaller than the MyPod. And it's a bit of a warmer vape than the MyPod. Or MePod. Which one is it, guys? Me or My? So here's the green one that I've been using. All right, this is also going to come in a bunch of different colors. So I think that's it for the up close. Let's go ahead, go up top, vape these, and talk about them a little more. All right, here we are with the Smok Mico. This one has the mesh pod inside. Let's vape it. This one right here has the standard 1 ohm coil. Let's vape that. These two are a very similar vape. I would say the mesh is a little bit warmer, and this one might be slightly tighter, but it's really close. Both of these have a looser draw for MTL. The draw is more so like the Nord mesh coils. It might be a little tighter than that, but not by much. You could definitely do a restricted lung hit with this. It's a pretty warm vape and it's flavorful, but it's damn loose for a mouth to lung type of device. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room and the fact that this definitely resembles the MyPod. I would not at all call this a clone or anything like that, but it definitely looks like it was inspired by that device. This is smaller. I think the materials are different. I think the vape quality is probably better on these than the MyPod, to be honest with you, but the MyPod's also, you know, over a year old, I think. But there's no doubt that they were inspired by that. And I've noticed a trend there with Smok and some of their pod system types of devices where they tend to kind of resemble other pods out there. Now let's talk pros and cons with this. First off, cons. Like I said, it's a looser draw. It's either a tighter restricted lung hit or a very loose MTL type of draw. So you gotta like that. Some people do, some people don't. For me, I personally wish it was a little bit tighter. I like a tighter draw with this style of device. Let's compare it to the Caliburn, which I've been using recently. Yeah, this definitely has a looser draw than this, and this one's not even that loose. This is like medium to loose when it comes to mouth to lung draws. As far as other cons go, I feel like the mouthpiece is too wide. Now, granted, I have a very small mouth, and we talk about that a lot on this channel, and people like to razz me about it, and fair enough. It's okay. But for my little mouth, this mouthpiece is definitely too wide, and I don't find it super duper comfortable. I would have liked it if it was more tapered in or something and wasn't that wide. It's just, it's not my thing, so I'm not crazy about the mouthpiece on this. That's really all I got, though, as far as cons. Let's talk pros. It's a pretty warm vape. A lot of times when you get these types of devices that have a looser draw, they tend to be cooler. This is a pretty damn warm vape, and the auto draw ramps up very nicely. There's not a big delay or anything like that. Flavor on it's very good. If you like a loose MTL or a tight restricted lung hit, I don't think you're gonna have any issue with the flavor, especially on these mesh coils. Build quality is nice. It does feel solid. It's very, very pocketable and tiny, and you actually get a pretty good amount of battery life for this type of device in a very small form factor. Even the tightest skinny jeans can still handle this in their pocket. I mean, like I said, you know, the Q is small, but look at these two together. The Mico's super duper tiny. I like the windows on both sides, very easy to see your liquid level. The filling method is easy enough. It's not the easiest, you know, pod system filling method we've seen, but it's definitely not too bad to fill it up. I like the little on and off switch right here. I like that you get battery feedback, so you know where your battery is at. You got the green, orange, red. It charges up in a pretty fast amount of time, and this may last some of you all day depending on how often you vape. Obviously, that depends on how much nicotine you're using. If you're using a higher nic, you tend to vape it less. How many puffs a day do you use? So on and so forth. But this could very well last you all day if you're just a moderate vapor. But if not, you can charge this and it will charge up pretty fast. Another pro is that they give you 2 pods and the kit's around 25 bucks. So you get 2 pods. That's definitely great to see. So all in all, it's a nice vape. If you like a looser MTL, you like a fairly warm, looser MTL or a tighter restricted lung hit, would I choose this over Smok's Nord? I think I like the Nord better because you can get that tighter coil head, the non-mesh one, and you can't get that with this. Would have been awesome to see this take the Nord coils. You probably have to make it a little bit bigger or something though, so then you could use those coils across all these different devices. So if you want this form factor, but you already got Nord coils, you could do that. But as is, you do have to buy your own separate pods. But if you do like that mesh vape on the Nord, there's no doubt you're gonna like this because it's a similar type of vape. This might even be a little bit warmer than the Nord vape. It's a pretty damn warm vape for this type of device, which I think I've said a few times already. So I think we'll go ahead and end it there, guys. Like I said, 25 bucks. All the different retailers, I'm sure, are going to carry this. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. And I think, I'm not certain, but I think I'm going to do a live Q&A tomorrow earlier in the day. So be on the lookout for that. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mud.